Welcome to Voice Rising with Kara Johnstad. Enjoy weekly conversations with leading luminaries, pioneering visionaries, singers, poets, musicians, and sound healers as we explore the profound role our voice plays on the path to self-realization and global enlightenment. The internationally acclaimed singer, composer, author, healer, recording artist, voice expert, creator of Voice Your Essence, and founder of the School of Voice, Kara Johnstad uses her extraordinary spiritual gifts to empower others. Everything in this world vibrates. Everything has a frequency. A pioneer in the field of voice work and transformational songwriting. Her breakthrough methods are helping thousands of people worldwide fine-tune their body-mind-spirit system and unlock the energetic frequencies of limitless creativity, health, and abundance. Share your voice, ask your questions, join in the conversation. Receive life-changing, positive transformation and rise together to create a sound world. And here's your host, Kara Johnstad.
Hello, welcome everybody. Today we are diving into what it means to be timeless. And there's no better person in this world to explore this concept than the world-renowned singer-songwriter, peace activist, and mega deep soul, Miten. He's been featured in top media, including the Wall Street Journal, the Los Angeles Times, the Huffington Post, and endorsed by celebrities as varied as Cher, Tony Robbins, and the Dalai Lama. His music and the music of David Primal and Miten has been included in many movie soundtracks and honored by 1.5 million sales. I do think I have an old number because now they have this new album out, which is called Timeless, and I'm sure now it's skyrocketing up to a few million because this new album, which Miten is here to share with us today, is stunning. Actually, it's stunning. So welcome, Miten, to Voice Rising.
Thank you, Kara. I'm happy to be here to talk about Timeless. It's a sweet invitation. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I thought we'd start just to go into the profound space. I thought we'd start with a quote by T.S. Eliot, and he said, "What we call the beginning is often the end, and to make an end is to make a beginning." And
Absolutely.
the end is where we start from. And you just released this gorgeous album with Deva and other fellow travelers. We got the title by now. It's called Timeless. How can we forget Timeless? Mm-hmm. What are you sensing in these current evolutionary times? Are we at the end where we're going to start from? Do you feel that there may be old paradigms and power structures that are crumbling and we're sitting here at precipice of new beginnings and just a mega awakening of human consciousness?
Well, I like to think so. I don't know. I like to think so personally on a very individualistic level. It's exactly what's happening to me personally. I just finished a tour. We just finished 30 days tour of 14 concerts throughout Europe. And I was saying to David, this feels like this is the end of something. This was honoring some of the lockdown rolled out concerts that couldn't happen because of lockdown. And there was a sense of completion in my life. And I just felt exactly those words that you just quoted. It was a tour that I was, every tour, David and I always say, hey, that was the best one, you know? And it just felt like that again. It just felt like this. I had the band that I always wanted for David and myself, but the band that I exactly knew could support David and her voice and my songs. It was me saying, I want to do this, and then that's the end of something for me, because I'm 75 years old now, and my first LP was on Decca in London when I was a 25-year-old kid. That's half a century, you know. And I just feel like this interest in that it's come at this time in such a way, such a profound way, that with the lockdown, with the band coming out and us taking a chance to, travel through Europe, but we felt like this is the time. It felt like we were all coming out of this dark spell, and it reminded me of when the Beatles came out. There was the darkness in the world in England before that, and it was this light that came through, and I felt like we've all been through so much in our different ways as a result of the lockdown. And I was just speaking to somebody today, actually the woman who was giving me I'm at a spa right now. I'm getting some healing thermal waters and a few shots of ozone and things like this. Very healthy. And
Nice.
the lady that was giving me the shot, she said, I never expected it, but I had a beautiful lockdown. I was 3 days every day in the forest, and I could never do that before. And I felt like we're all coming out of a very dark time and an intense time.
Yeah.
And so it's the beginning, but it also, there's for me, a definite line underneath everything that went before me in my life. And in the most beautiful way, it led me to this point where I realized this is the end of what I've been doing for half a century, and what's next, and exactly timeless. I don't know how. I can't even remember why I decided to call the album Timeless, but it just came to me. And then afterwards, and I said it to David, it was like, wow, that's exactly where we've been. We were in Costa Rica. That's where we were. We were there for a program of Blue Spirit when the wall came down, when the lockdown happened. So we've lived in the jungle for 2.5 years in Costa Rica. We never left. That was our whole thing with the COVID and lockdown and everything. We were living in a jungle on a beach, and in that time we created lots of really interesting music. It was a great time. We had an album called The Jungle Sessions, which is a bunch of my songs that I never put together in that way, and I put together, kind of curated a best of David Pramal, so it's like 3 CD, kind of like a box set with all these beautiful mantras. And David just wanted to, I had nothing much to do. I was just sitting there in like I say, in the jungle, in the garden, and I started to listen to all our albums and just pick out pieces I liked and especially liked, and so that made the essential David Pramal, which has been a beautiful release for people who are catching up on some of our more recent music, And so as far as individuals, or my individual perception of this is that I'm at the end of something, and I'm in a rebirth, and I'm moving into something new, and I'm very curious and excited to see what it is. I can imagine Dave with a string quartet, something really different, something where we just, and I can bow out of that situation. And
I was thinking Miten, I was just thinking when you said 75 from one musician to the other, it's pretty much destiny, because we both know the 12 is the perfect octave, right? And we have all the scales with 7, and then we have the pentatonic with 5. And I was just sitting here going, wow, a half a century of music, and 75 is a completion number, because it comes to 12, and 12 for musicians. For other people, they don't get it, but for musicians, it's like it is a perfect octave. It's the next frequency, but of the unison, right? And I think that's just so.
That's great. That's
it's just,
great, Cara. I didn't realize that. That's
yeah,
really
it's just,
beautiful.
yeah. I mean, you have so many years doing music, but you also have so many years diving into the sweet silence, right? The I guess your creativity is coming from that well of silence, and it's not only the well of your silence, but it's the well of the silence that you experienced in Pune and in many yoga centers and festivals in your personal practice. It takes its roots, and I think what is so precious about all of your music, but this album, it has this taste where you have that sound of silence. So what can you tell us about how important meditation is for music, and how you have that profound ability, I mean, David has it too, to sing the sound of silence? It's very rare to hear music that you can play as loud as possible. You can blast your music and you still end up in silence, you know? Like, how do you do that? Yeah.
That's you know, I I I I left my world and my when I was a kid, 25, 26, 27, the 70s. I left all that behind because I knew there was something else, and I didn't know where to look. And I went looking in India. That was a kind of hippie trail back then. That was where you'd go to look for whatever answer you were trying to find, and couldn't in our society, you know, and we just couldn't. I couldn't find it, and then I learned. Oh, it's called meditation. I've got to learn to meditate, and it's that's what I went to. I went to a master who taught me how to meditate, and he taught me that real music has nothing to do with ambition, it's nothing to do with making money, nothing to do with power, nothing to do with ego. And we played, it wasn't just the words, of course we all understand those words, but to actually experience it in the atmosphere and the environment of an ashram, where when the master comes to the podium, there's no musician trying to say, hey, check me out. You know, hey, listen to me. You know, we were all in wonder. We were just, it was just like, wow, this is really happening to me as an individual. I'm here in India with this enlightened master who's been just working tirelessly to, especially for Western people, to kids we were, and to learn, you know, with the energy that we carried. It was just an incredible time, and out of that, music arises, you know, and there has to be. That's why Dave and I, before we can actually get into any music, when we begin our gatherings together, the first thing and most important thing is to just be able to sit quietly with each other. It doesn't matter if it's a few thousand. We can sit quietly, and that space is the portal into meditation for all of us. Then David can sing, then I come, and that journey that we go on, when the mantra is finished, the first mantra, we're in a deeper space of silence than the one we left, and so it goes. And by the end of the evening, we've been to church, and all of us, you know, we're the and without that understanding that I actually could play and you know, it wasn't that I'm going to say, now I'm going to experiment with what the master says. No, we played it. We used to play every night. Every night there would be darshan music, and Osho didn't want us to rehearse more than an hour. That would be a luxury, and then we would get into Buddha Hall, because he wanted it to be, he challenged, everything was a challenge, and it was just a challenge. It was never an insistence. It was always a challenge. And so to rise to that challenge as musicians meant that we were super, super tuned into each other, super, super tuned into the environment in which we were playing. A few thousand people come to meditate. And obviously it's a ritual. Everybody's wearing white robes, so it's a ritual. And I get it, and there's a real sensitive situation and so great, this as a singer, when the space is empty and you put yourself into that space through the music and play and whatever you do, whatever you sing, whatever you play is being received from people in a very vulnerable place. Everybody's meditating. Everybody's open. We're hearing the sound of the birds in the tree. We're hearing the distant trains in India and the traffic outside, and we're all in this moment of moving deeper into ourselves. And that's what we do with our concerts. We do our best to replicate that feeling when we're in a theater, so that we all forget we're in a theater. It's a temple. We're all singing together in our temple, and that's what keeps me going. That's the thing that at my age keeps me going, because it's timeless. I don't feel whatever I'm supposed to feel like 75. I don't feel like 25. It's just a timeless experience, and with these musicians I can all move into that, and we can start to trust that Miten might say, we're going to change the set list, and I'm going to do this one, and then we're going to and then I'm going to surprise you. And we all, because I want them to be as in the moment as everybody else. And these guys are superb musicians. They're used to, not used to, but they like all of the guys in these 14 concerts we've just done. We started off, we work a set list. So for one or two gatherings, we kept the set list the same. And as we got more and more relaxed with each other and relaxed with the people and felt the people's love and our beautiful music that was happening, coming out with the best sound I would say we've ever had. We've had this super, super young sound engineer. We had best crew, beautiful lights. This lighting technician just made. It was such a beautiful tour. I'm so happy that it coincided. It wasn't really a plan with the album Timeless. It all just suddenly fit together. It was like, let's go out and play it, and we more or less did. Of course, we had to keep the favorites in, like the Gayatri Mantra, of course, and So Much Magnificence Near the Ocean, and they have their own wings. You just rub the genie lamp, and out comes a mantra, and then you hang on for dear life, and you see where it wants to take us. As a band of musicians, that's the concept. I like it to be that loose, and then Deva has space and for her silence to just emerge. So it's been a great tour.
Miten, we're going to take a very, very small break, a very short break for the sponsors, and ride a little bit on that magic carpet, and we're going to be back in a couple of moments.
Okay.
The cutting edge of conscious radio. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
OMTimes magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organisation, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. Connect at omtimes.com. OMTimes, creating a more conscious lifestyle.
With happy clients all over the world, Kara Johnstad knows that your voice is the missing link to more authenticity, abundance, creativity, and health. An internationally acclaimed voice expert, Kara's breakthrough methods have helped thousands of people successfully heal their voice wounds and extinguish the story of self-doubt and shyness forever. Join in group trainings, attend online sessions, schedule one-on-one time, and invite Kara to work with your organization and community. Get started today. Go to www.karajohnstad.com and receive a special guided meditation designed to fine-tune your inner voice and welcome you on the voice journey.
Shift Your Life at Shift New York. This year, the 16th annual Shift New York Holistic and Psychic Fair will celebrate your healing and wellness. Join us this October 29th and 30th as we are featuring top holistic practitioners and the best spiritual teachers from the Northeast. Join one of our free workshops on spiritual topics to help you shift your life. Discover dream interpretation, animal communication, sound healing, and so much more. Other activities include tarot reading, alternative energy, spiritual healing, mediumship. Private readings and energy healings are also available. You will not want to miss this. Pre-book to guarantee your spot. Shift your life with us. Learn more at shiftnewyork.com.
If I could be you,
and you could be me,
for just 1 hour.
if you could find a way,
to get inside
each other's mind.
walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
We've all felt left out, and for some, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Welcome back to Voice Rising. My guest today is the singer-songwriter Miten, who together with his partner David Premal just released a stunning new album entitled Timeless, and the album is a must-have, full of lots of jewels, among them a collaboration with the 5-time Grammy Award-winning singer-songwriter India Ari, a track by the Grammy-nominated world devotional music pioneer Jai Uttal, and the duo's longtime producer and multi-instrumentalist, singer-songwriter Joby Baker. Miten, we're talking about your time actually in this beautiful deep space that you had in the Pune ashram with Osho, and also the same deep silent space that you create in concert with Deva. And there's one song that has accompanied you. I mean, I'm sure there's many songs that has accompanied you, but it's on this album. It's the only English title on the Timeless album, and it's accompanied you probably for more than 3 decades. The lyrics, right? The lyrics are like, I was thinking about the Basho haiku, the old pond, a frog jumps in, sound of water. You know, this kind of very Zen moment. I'd love our listeners to start listening to some tracks. I just closed my eyes. Are there any words that you'd like to share before we listen in?
Well, I would like to say just something about it, Kara, because there's not many songs that actually express the experience of meditation. In fact, I only really know one other one, and that's a beautiful song written by beloved Leonard Cohen, and it's called "Love Itself Was Gone," and it's on one of his earlier albums called 10 New Songs. But I just closed my eyes. It's the perfect experience of meditation. I just close my eyes, and what is left behind is just the sound of water. That's it. And the words are carried away by the river. So you're sitting by the river, and that's it. And it's so beautiful, and it's a really, for me, it's an opportunity to share with listeners the encouragement or the suggestion just to close your eyes and listen to that music. It's such a beautiful piece of music. I'm very, very happy and proud to be part of it.
Yeah, let's listen in. I just closed my eyes. sound of water off of the new album Timeless by Deva Premal and Miten. Let's stay with that river image, the river with all her arms reaching and moving towards that vast ocean. Your music is also continuing just like this river, so organically. I find this so beautiful. From these small streams, it's getting, the reach is widening, and you're getting more and more listeners, and you're touching more and more hearts. And this is not a one-time quick hit, right? This movement that you've created and your work has very, very deep roots, Miten, and not only are you connecting all these beautiful hearts around the world, but you're also inviting more and more conscious creatives and artists to collaborate, right? To join you. So on this album, you have really some beautiful fellow travelers that have come to join you, right? To create this like big family reunion, and you feel like you finally got the family together, and then suddenly a new cousin and a new aunt and a new uncle. You're like, wow, right? I mean, it's so stunning, right?
Well, when India Ari came, we were like, wow, new sister. It was like, oh, another beloved in the family, and she's just so beautiful and totally unexpected, really. We didn't know. I mean, I knew her albums, and of course, but I didn't really, have any idea that there was a connection between her and Deva.
Yeah.
And somehow Deva reached out, or India reached out. I can't remember which way it was, but they both knew of each other, and they really, started to. Well, actually, what happened was India wanted to chant a mantra, and she was looking for which one shall we chant together, and we immediately suggested the Gayatri, because that's the one. So, but India said, I'm not feeling that one, and she composed just just so sweetly and so simple, this beautiful Buddhist OMTimes mantra, and which is kind of interesting because in some ways it's a mantra that invokes the balance of nature, and especially with what's going on now with the global problems with the weather and the whole thing. This mantra. So we once India put her voice on there, then it was just a matter of time before we structured the upright bass and the beautiful things that Joby Baker did, and then her and Deva sang as a duet, and it's just such a beautiful thing to see these two very physically beautiful people and at the same time very opposite, and chanting this Buddhist mantra together. And it just made me feel like, wow, another example of timelessness, so we just had to start the album with it and finish with a remix of it, because it's one beautiful thing that India said when her mother heard the track. She said something like, it's going to make people cry. And how did she put it? It was so beautiful, like tears of joy and release, or some beautiful thing that India's mom heard in that music. And anyway, so to get to meet India, and then we'd already sung on Jai Uttal's last album, and
talk a little bit about. Talk a little about, we're going to have India's music, but probably we're going to close the show just like you closed your album. So talk a little bit about Jai Uttal and, these campfire feelings. You have a great track. Yeah.
Jai for me, Jai is the avatar of the whole yoga music scene. I think he's I mean, obviously, Krishna Das is this rock there, you know, the godfather. But Jai was like, for me, he was always looking to stretch boundaries. Krishna Das was not interested in that. A bit like Dave and me, we just do our thing. It's something we can do, and that's it. And then you just add what you can to that journey. Whereas with Jai can go wherever. He goes to different boundaries, and I just found him always really inspirational. And we got to be brothers, you know, over the years. We met and we talked, and then he asked if we would chant this mantra that he called Campfire Sri Ram. He said it's just like a campfire thing. He just wrote it in this.
Actually, on his homepage, he said the original title was Cowboy Sri Ram, which I thought was great. Cowboy Sri Ram, and it got turned into campfire. But I thought Cowboy Sri Ram is really like it's good. You know, it's like
kind of cool, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Like just riding it, you know. Yeah.
So that's it. So it was called Campfire Sri Ram. We sang on it, and we loved it, and we started to sing it, Dave and I, in our live streams in our Gayatri app. Every week we do a live stream to our people in the Gayatri. We call it the Gayatri Sangha app. There's thousands of us in the app. And it's away from the Facebook and everything, and we've got our own private thing. So we have many, many people, and we're all sharing meditations, and Dave and I go live every week, and we get together. It's really beautiful. Nice. And so we started to sing it, and people said, "Oh, I love that one from the Jai Utal." You know, so I said to Jai, would you be cool if we took the backing track from you, and Dave and I did the lead vocals on it, and gave it a new perspective and a new look. And he was so happy. He was like, "Sure, do it." And so we did, and it turned out again to be a really beautiful piece. And we played it on this last tour. We played it pretty much every concert. It's one of those pieces, very simple, and it brings everybody together in a very innocent way, like Campfire. I don't really like to see the mantras as sing-alongs. They're not sing-alongs, but Jai, when he wrote that, you could feel it was Jai feeling like, yeah, this is one that you just sing around the campfire, you know.
So let's listen in to Campfire Sri Ram, which is a waltz. Yeah. So that's it. Let's listen in, and then we might just head right into the next break.
Okay.
Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram,
Bringing a more conscious lifestyle to your world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Ascending Hearts is no ordinary dating site, but a spiritual dating site with a purpose, to link you with your soulmate. We engineer the serendipity so you can trust that you will attune with someone that has the same matching vibration as you. Ascending Hearts, the conscious dating site for the spiritually aware. Try Ascending Hearts for free. AscendingHearts.com.
My name is Victor Furman. Some call me The Voice. I've always been fascinated with human nature, spirituality, science, and the crossroads at which they meet. Join me Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio, and we'll explore these topics and so much more on Destination Unlimited.
You came across someone struggling with hunger. How would you recognize them? Would you notice an 8-year-old girl who's not excited for summer break because she may not be having lunch again until September? Or a war veteran who's having a hard time landing a job and getting back on his feet? I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Voice Rising. My guest today is singer-songwriter Miten, who together with his partner David Premal just released this gorgeous gem of a new album entitled Timeless, and I think it is a timeless classic, and it's only been on the market for, I mean, how in the world can you create a time classic when it's only been on the market for a few weeks? But it is going to prove its name. It's going to be true that we're going to be listening to this album for many, many years. Miten, you were talking about this beautiful connection that happened through this album with Deva Premal, your partner, or Deva, and India Ari, and just the joy to see these two sisters, these two iconic voices come together and sing the Tibetan Buddhist mantra devoted to the deity Tara. And you actually also, I know Tara, but it's pretty profound. It's said that she extinguishes fires and stops floods and brings everything back into balance. And then just to see how profound this is, Miten, upon her lotus flower is an auspicious infinity knot, and now you come back to the 8, the 7, 5, 12 octave thing. So I just thought, see, there you go. So infinity, timelessness. I mean, that is kind of cool. Do you have any back stories on this beautiful mantra before we listen to it with India Ari and her voice and?
No, just a magical moment when I heard their voices together. It was just magic. It was just magic, and I just wanted to keep it as simple as possible. Didn't want to. But I just wanted to have the two sisters chant the mantra, no frills, no nothing, no, just the naked glory of the devotion. It's really beautiful.
It is beautiful. Let's listen into Tada Mangalata mantra.
Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Mangalam Shri Mahabani Swaha. Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Mangalam Shri Mahabani Swaha. Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Mangalam Shri Mahabani Swaha. Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Mangalam Shri Mahabani Swaha. Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Mangalam Shri Mahabani Swaha. Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Mangalam Shri Mahabani Swaha. Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Mangalam Shri Mahabani Swaha. Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Mangalam Shri Mahabani Swaha.
Simply gorgeous. I think that is the essence, pure. That is really the essence of voice. Actually, the what it means to be together, tuned, and at the same time each one a diamond, right? It's so beautiful. So due to these very uncertain times with our climate, Deva in India decided to dedicate the track and all the proceeds from this track to restoring our beautiful oceans, and they're giving all the monies to 4ocean.com, which is
they're good people.
Good people, right? Cleanup company dedicated to ending ocean plastic. So a big shout out to 4ocean.com and all the work they're doing there for protecting our waters and saving our waters. So, Miten, if we could fill this whole earth with our laughter and our tears and our dancing and our singing and our music, and we could create that delightful harmony, and we know it's possible because everybody carries the seed, right? Everybody carries that infectious ability to celebrate. This harmony might just be that spark that sets the world spinning in the new direction, in the new beginnings, with that high vibration of love, which you bring and David bring to all the work that you do. So what is your vision for our lovely Mother Earth at this time?
Oh, wow. Well, I think of that Louis Armstrong song, and I see trees of green, and red roses too. I see them. What a wonderful world. And
for me and you. Yeah.
And I'm staying there. I just got to stay in the moment with that, and take it day by day, one step at a time. Every moment is the next vision for me right now, and I'm not looking too far ahead. And I'm praying and I'm trusting, and but I'm not going beyond that really. I just stay in the moment and deal as best I can with everything that life comes at you in the moment, and the mantras help to support that way of life. They just give you some support when you need it. Speaking personally, and when you think of the mantras being 5,000 years old, like that one that you just heard, those mantras come from way back. Imagine 5,000 years from now, and they're still being chanted. And that's the kind of vision that I imagine can happen. I don't know what environment humanity has made for itself, if it's going to be able to survive it, or if I think probably we'll be living in a very, very, very different reality than the ones that we've known. But I don't see a future without mantras. I think they'll be with, I think they're going to be there. So, I'm going to hang on to that,
That's a very sweet image that just it's like, well, the rivers may be dried up and everything else may be gone, but we have our mantras, and we're gonna be climbing the mountains on a rope, a mantra rope. We're gonna help each other. Yeah,
that's the key, because we're not going to we can't rely on the outside. We don't know what kind of atmosphere we're going to be living in, but the inside world is untouchable if you can get there, and that mantras take you there. Then that sense of gratitude is, whether you're in prison or whether you're sitting in a spa in Bavaria like me, right now the point is to find that stream of gratitude for whatever's happening. Not poor things, but whatever's not for things, just for no reason at all. That's what I feel the message is with the mantras, a sense of gratitude, a sense of forgiveness, and a sense of compassion. Those three qualities are available through chanting these mantras. And that's our offering for the world, That's it. That's what all we've got, and we do our best to share, like you do, like your radio program and your voice workshops. It's all in service, It's great.
It's all in service, and I think gratitude, we often can find ways, but to be compassionate or to practice forgiveness when we're facing, for example, people literally bombing each other, it's a deep practice. It's a deep practice of compassion, right? It's a deep practice of really digging deep and seeing all those. Somebody was telling me yesterday, in Ukraine, just all the heart moments that were happening in the midst of all this, right? And it really brings you deep. I mean, really deep. Miten, you were talking about mantras, and we're at the closing, really the closing words, but mantras, they do have to do with the sound and the silence and the voice. You don't have instrumental mantras. So if there's one golden nugget you could share with the Voice Rising audience about voice that you have come to embrace with all these years of singing and sharing your thoughts and your voice, what would it be?
I would encourage everybody to connect with their inner child, let's call it, and sing, and find a choir, find a church, find a gospel choir, go to kirtan, take some ayahuasca and chant whatever, but
become a singing plant.
I think if we sing, we have a chance. And and especially now, there's so many forces against it, because everything is digital and everything is so tough somewhere, so brittle and strong. And the voice isn't like that. The voice cries and the voice emotes, and that's how we talk to God,
Beautiful. Miten, I thank you so much. I'm sending you much love. And big hello to Deva Premal and all your amazing musicians. And thank you for doing the work that you do for our world.
Oh, beloved, thank you so much. And all the best for you. You take care of yourself. Keep singing, okay?
Okay. I promise.
I got you.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye, love.